Welcome to Good AM with me, Eazy Eddie. This episode will be great for artists who would like to stay current with the music industry and more directly how myself as a DJ manages the over 40,000 songs being published daily. To begin, those of you that have kept your library up to date and have a solid workflow, I won't waste your time and I'll just jump right into my final steps to finalizing the year. Considering the original hit records have already been played heavily in rotation throughout the year and they're now ready to be shelved, you're going to want to bring out your preferred remixes. This is also a great time to bring out those diamond in the rough records that didn't receive any or a lot of airplay, but you've deemed worthy to earn more attention by adding it to your set. If you haven't stayed up to date with your music, or you don't have a music update rotation in place, no worries, I'm going to cover that process right now. First, start with your weekly record reload. I use Promo Only. Promo Only is a resource for music industry professionals to receive music on a daily basis. Now, the difference between Promo Only and a variety album like Now 74 is A, the volume of music being delivered, and more importantly, B, the cost and the mix show ready edits made by the record pool's DJs and music directors. If you're wondering why labels allow record pools to exist instead of forcing us to buy each record individually, well, that's a fair question. It's because record labels enjoy having these pools as the gateway to reach music professionals that's performing for an audience to promote their music. We enjoy the convenience and price break on music, and they instantly reach all the radio station DJs and live performing artists. It's a win-win for everyone. Also, keep in mind, you can't sign up for these pools unless you're on a platform that gives you exposure to the records. If you're just starting off, a great platform to create a channel is Mixcloud.com. On a side note, I've reviewed other record pools and in my opinion, I found Promo Only to have a weekly record reloading process that just works for me. Again, the music industry is incredibly huge with 40,000 tracks being released every day. When selecting tracks, prioritizing, and time management, it just is crucial. Promo Only's music outlet is well organized. They do this by making priority on expected high demand records by placement within their system. This placement is in the form of weekly updated trending and top charts, specific and genre album releases, and of course the valuable custom DJ mix show edits. This organization will allow you to rock the no-brainer hits and still have time to develop creative sets and discover what I like to call the diamond in the rough records that aren't being backed by millions from top record labels. Once joined with Promo Only's digital record pool, you'll then log into your online pool application, go to Preferences, create a new download location, then begin downloading from the charts sections. For the first time downloading, create a file for each album to help separate genres. When the following week comes around, you only need to change the location to the file name that matches the chart. Once downloads are complete, you'll run the tracks through the application Mix and Key. To prevent duplicate files, go into Mix and Key Settings tab, select Do Not Rename File. This is important because if Mix and Key rewrites the file, Finder on your MacBook won't be able to identify duplicate files on your next weekly download update from Promo Only. If you're not using a MacBook, you're on your own. Sorry, I use a MacBook. To quickly cover why I use Mix and Key instead of using Serato's built-in analyzing feature, the answer is simply when Serato introduced the key detection feature, I ran a set of songs through both for processing and then researched the root key of each song and found that Mix and Key's algorithm came back more accurate. Now, that doesn't say Serato hasn't improved. I just always stuck with Mix and Key. Also, if this is the first time you're hearing root key or Mix and Key, I'll quickly fill you in as simply as possible. There are 12 individual keys, each get a letter. Each song uses a different set of letters, which are called chords. These chords also get a letter and a name, major and minor. This letter will represent the root key for the chord. Unless you're producing, knowing the actual letters within the chord isn't need to know information, but knowing that you'll want to mix chords together that share the most commonality in keys is important. This will allow you to marry songs together harmonically. Mix and Key allows you to identify chords that will work together through a simple number wheel, which Serato has also adopted. So when you see the wheel, you'll have a 1 through 12A for minor, a 1 through 12B for major. Songs analyzed as 4 will obviously work with 4, and 4 will also work with neighboring numbers 2, 3, 5, and 6. That's it. Now that the songs are downloaded and your songs are pre-analyzed, simply load up Serato, go to the Added tab on your computer and make sure it's today's files and move each one of those into the dedicated crate, which should match the file name. Then run your primary analyzing for beat grids and corrupt files. This process should be happening on a weekly basis to stay up to date with the music industry's top hits and building your preferred song selections. Assuming you've been following this update flow last year, then today your preferred remixes would be 2 years old and they'll need to be retired while also keeping your personal faves. Don't retire those, keep those. Also, whether original or remix, you'll want to keep the songs that will prove the test of time. Now you'll begin introducing last year's preferred remixes to replace last year's originals, as well as bringing in your Diamond in the Rough records and headlining today's top charting originals to your set. As to everything, there are exceptions for introducing brand new remixes or Diamond in the Roughs that are unfamiliar to your audience. Number one, you play at a residency with a regular crowd of at least 20 to 30% of the total audience or more. If you have been playing there for at least a year, the 20-30% will be considered your fan base, and they will give you the more creative room to work with by pushing positive feedback because they just like you. Having at least 20% of the room pre-qualifying your song selections will give you the pushing power and the energy to motivate new guests to simply go with the flow. I held a residency for over a decade with good taste. Not only was I able to introduce any record I wanted, I was even able to introduce an emerging music genre, Cubadon, while also inviting artists from that genre to perform live, with some of these artists actually breaking out within the mainstream market today. An example would be Lanier, who has a single release with Pitbull and Neo. Second exception, you're a producer and a DJ playing your own original remixes. You either have a dedicated following fan base, or two, the venue accepted your performance demo, which includes your remixes. Both will be expecting your creative vision, which will make this good to go. Lastly, although not impossible but still extremely difficult, you cannot be a resident with a fan base and still get away with introducing brand new remixes or even your own originals. Is this something you'd be interested in knowing? Would you like to know how to prepare, package, and deliver a mix to a brand new crowd who has no clue who you are? Let me know in the comments. Maybe it'll be one of my next videos. Outside of those exceptions, introducing a brand new remix or original to an unexpected audience sadly just comes across as obnoxious, cocky, or even both. So this process happens every year, year after year. Just be sure to pick remixes that fit your taste and that you love to hear while performing. Once that is done, just bring in today's top charting original hit songs that fits your taste and begin building your mix set. You'll have a personalized set of your own. Make a demo and begin booking gigs. In closing, for DJs, no one will mind hearing a fresh version of a song they already know in the form of a remix, and they'll easily love you for playing the hottest current record being played today. Just be sure to creatively add those Diamond in the Rough records. Those are the records that you'll be remembered by and will also build your character as a DJ. If you're a producer, you can easily go with the same process. Just start picking out your favorite original songs from the previous year and get to creating rather than digging for published remix records. For those who haven't dived deep into last year's music releases, no worries. Just get to downloading and begin prioritizing with the most important being albums and DJ mix show edits. Second in priority is single releases and non-mix ready edits. I'll list the priorities here. Keep in mind, this is for promo only's digital pool. Priority 1, mix show edits. Priority 2, single releases that are labeled as top 40 without DJ edits. Priority 3, single releases labeled as EDM or anything labeled as electronic. Priority 4, single releases from your preferred record labels. This is a great way to discover newly signed artists and EPs that didn't make the cut for DJ edits or albums. You'll also notice a lot of your music that you enjoy come from the same record label. This is because labels purposely sign new artists that complements their highest earning artists. There are a bunch of labels, but here are a couple to keep in mind: Atlantic, Ultra, Mad Decent, Interscope, Epic, Def Jams, Capitol, Juicy, RCA, Republic, Musical Freedom, OBO, Warner Brothers, Palm Tree, Sony Latin. The list goes on. Once these priorities have been selected, remove any doubles and you're all set. So this is the first episode of Good AM with me, Eazy Eddie. It was an absolute pleasure. Till next time, that's a wrap.